So if you've been searching on Amazon for a budget or beginner acoustic guitar, chances are you've come across a company called Vangoa. And this is one of Vangoa's acoustic guitars. The model is the Basic VG-1. I would assume they probably labeled it Basic simply because there's no tuner or pickup in it. It's just a standard acoustic guitar. I'd like to thank Vangoa for reaching out and sending me one of these to demo and review for the channel. It's always nice to get support for the channel. So in this video, we're going to take a deeper dive into the Vangoa brand and to figure out whether or not this guitar suits your needs and it's worth your time, effort, and money. Let's dive in. So doing a quick unboxing here, you'll notice there is a red bag full of accessories. Taking a look at those accessories, going from left to right, you'll see they include a pick guard, a capo, a tuner, a polishing cloth, some picks at the bottom left, Vangoa strings, an owner's manual, and of course, a strap. So this guitar was packaged really well in a case with a covering over that. Upon unzipping the case and opening that, the guitar was also wrapped in a further layer of protection. So starting with the specs of this instrument, this guitar retails anywhere from $120 to $150, depending on sales, price points, things that are going on at the moment. This video is coming out right as tariffs are hitting, so obviously that's subject to change. With that said, I will leave affiliate links in the description to Amazon. Just keep in mind, I may earn a small commission from it. So the body type on this is a dreadnought guitar. It is obviously a matte finish by looking at it. It does have a wooden binding which wraps around. I'm not sure if my camera will stay in focus. I'll try to get you a better shot of that. Moving this way, it does have your standard 18:1 basic tuner on it. They do claim that it has a bone nut on it after taking a close look at it. You know, I'm not really sure that's the case. I kind of feel like maybe it's either tusk or plastic. I don't see any grain in it, but they do state that it's bone. I'm not confident that it is. With that said, it is a 20 fret guitar. There are 20 frets on here. It is a 25.5 scale. If you're not familiar with that, it's the distance from the nut to the bridge. The 25.5 scale is the standard Fender scale. So if you're used to playing a Fender Strat or any Fender instrument, that scale will feel familiar to you. The neck on this guitar is okume. The top of this guitar is spruce. The back and the sides are a sapele wood. And the neck is a standard C shape. Very comfortable to play. That was one of the, definitely one of the highlights of the instrument. I'm gonna go ahead and hook up a Shure SM57, just run this line in right into the computer and give you guys an idea of how this guitar sounds. Let's throw the included capo on and see how well that works. All right, so a couple of quick things about the recording. Number one, I recorded this line in with a Shure SM57 mic and absolutely no effects, no tweaking, never touched the EQ. It's exactly as the mic recorded it. Secondly, I found this guitar to be a little bit on the brighter side. Typically, acoustics go one of two ways. They either go warmer and fatter or brighter and thinner. And in this case, this guitar is a little bit on the brighter and thinner side. That's my personal preference, but there's no right or wrong here. Just something that you should know. So let's talk about some of the things that I liked about this instrument, starting with the first thing that stood out to me most, and that was the sound. It has a lot of acoustic tone and volume to it. I have other instruments like an Ibanez Talman that don't have that fullness and depth because they're smaller bodied acoustic guitars. This particular instrument really, I thought, sounded very good for its price point. Truth be told, for under $300, I feel like you'd be hard pressed to find something better. The second thing I really liked about the instrument was the setup. Right out of the box, the guitar was playable. I picked it up, I tuned it up, it did need to be tuned. Other than that, I tuned it up, played it, minimal fret buzz. There were no uneven frets that stood out, no dead notes on the fretboard. So hats off to them for that. I felt like the guitar played really well without any adjustments at all. The third thing I really liked about this instrument is that the tuners on it feel like they're pretty good quality. There's no dead play in them. There's no like looseness or extra tension. They're smooth, they feel right, and they function as they should. The fourth thing that's really awesome about this guitar is the accessories that it comes with. As mentioned before, it comes with a variety of accessories, and more importantly, it comes with a case. So when you add that into the cost of a guitar, to go buy a guitar, say at Guitar Center, that would be $150 for a beginner acoustic, you're still gonna need a case, you're still gonna need picks, a strap, a capo, depending on what kind of music you wanna play. So all of a sudden your $150 guitar becomes $200 or $230. So the fact that Vangoa includes all of that with this instrument at a price point of under $150 feels like a really good value. As always on this channel, it isn't all sunshine and rainbows. I've yet to have a guitar that I've reviewed that didn't have any cons to it, and this guitar, of course, is no exception. There are things you need to know before you purchase one of these, and let's take a look at what a few of those things are. Starting with the first thing on here, and this is very typical of budget instruments, but the reality is there were several finish imperfections, particularly with regards to the binding. I'll try to get you some better looks at those. This edge of the binding, and I'll try to put it up next to my mic, which might be able to hear it. If not, I don't know if you can hear that, but it's very rough right there. And there's certain spots around the edge of this binding that either maybe they simply weren't sanded or just very rough. There's other areas where the cuts just don't look good. That's to be expected on an instrument of this price point, but at the same time, this is a review and those are things that you should know. The only other issue that I found with the instrument really had to do with the nut and the way that it was cut, and it's just causing the strings to get hung up in there. It's just basically not filed out enough. So as you're tuning, you're gonna hear like a plinking sound, and typically this affects a guitar with tuning stability, but oddly enough, I found the guitar held tune really well, so it didn't seem to really affect that, but it is something I'm going to mention because it does feel like that the nut could have been slotted just a little bit better. With that said, there are some simple fixes to that. You can get nut lubricant off of Amazon, it's very cheap, or you could even simply take a number 2 pencil and just kind of color in there, oddly enough, and that will lubricate the nut enough for the strings to slide through it. I was really kind of surprised because typically when you see that type of catching of the string in the nut, it causes a tuning stability issue. And I did find that this guitar held tune really well, but I still felt the need to mention that. So overall, who is this guitar for? The reality is that this guitar here, to me, would make for the perfect beginner instrument. And this has to do with a few different things. Largely the fact that it's playable right out of the box. It didn't need any adjustment. You just need to tune it. You have everything you need to get going. That's the big thing, is the accessories, right? You have all the accessories you need. You get a case. You get everything you need to get going, and you can immediately start taking guitar lessons with this instrument. So if you're a beginner and you're considering taking up guitar, this would be really an ideal option for you. The other camp where this guitar would work really well is someone like me, who's a veteran player, but literally wants something they can just hang on the wall right next to the door out back. I can grab it out back. I can go play by the fire pit. I don't need an amp. I don't need a tuner. I know how to tune from ear. I don't need any of that. I just want to sit by my fire pit and play guitar. This is really the ideal option for it. if something happens to it, if somebody knocks it over. It doesn't really matter because it's an inexpensive option. And I think for someone who's looking for that, it's really a great guitar. You know, if you're buying this guitar and you're expecting the tone of a Taylor or a Martin or really any instrument over $500, you are going to be sorely disappointed, and I certainly wouldn't recommend it. You know, does it sound good? Yes, it does. I thought it sounded very good for its price point. Is it Taylor, Martin, or any of the other, you know, instruments that you're going to find over $500? No, it's not, and it shouldn't be because it's not that quality. If it was, it would be those price points. And I think that's just something that's important to note. So you really just have to know where you stand. So if you like guitar-related content, please be sure to subscribe to the channel. If you have any questions on this guitar, by all means, leave a comment and I will try to respond. I do try to respond to all the comments that come through on the channel. Again, I would like to thank Vangoa for reaching out and sending me one of these. Support on a small YouTube channel is always appreciated. And as always, you guys rock. Thanks for watching.